Does modern slavery exist?
Modern slavery exists. We are in a state of slavery worse possibly than ever before. Obviously, there is the old slavery of human cargoes and prostitution and child labour, but there is also the slavery of bureaucracy, there's the slavery of debt, there's indentured servitude, there are wealthy people that are addicted to the structures or committed to the structures by virtue of their own ethics or morality, and they cannot leave, and they do not leave. There is workaholism. There is the absence of rest. There's the absence of relaxation. There are many forms of slavery, and it's unnecessary.
So, who can deliver today from slavery?
Delivery from slavery requires the outstretched hand. The outstretched hand is the capacity to act in many dimensions, to act in depth, in planning, in language, in consensus, over several power groups, over several corporate and political groups. The outstretched hand is the analogy to a complementary, cohesive, coordinated plan which could be carried out with the genius of humanity.
I don't understand exactly what you're saying, but it seems to me there is no hope.
Humanity builds hope. Humanity builds hope like an ark. People depend on each other and create a relationship, and that is an extraordinarily difficult challenge which, when it has been achieved, and it has been achieved by communities and religions and through cultures who support each other, this is very precious, and the fabric that holds humans together in unity and in calm and in dignity is truly a wonderful and goodly nature.
What can we learn from the biblical story?
The biblical story of the plagues, the dystopia that is caused, when human society is not functioning properly, it represents the symbol of anti-creation. That is a wonderful idea, that creation is essentially hopeful, and that within it are the seeds for cooperation and for the brimming and the blossoming and the natural shape of a wonderful universe. And in dystopia, in disease, it goes a different ways. One can gather from that in times of plague and virus and distress, it is a time to regroup and to reorganize and to reconsider one's relations and the principles and the values of one's relations and the method in which one should interact. It is a time, it is an omen for rethinking.
At what stage is the civilization today?
Today we are on the brink. I am inclined to say that we are beyond the brink, that we will not go back to a worse time, that humanity has evolved and that we have the instruments which are so available, and we also have the pedagogical feeling for achievement. In the past, one did not know whether one was achieving going forward or going backwards. It was often a case of one step forward, two steps backwards. But today we know what has worked. We know that science, and we know that technology, and we know that AI can improve our lives, it can improve the human disposition. We know that from the major civilizations, from east to west, from America to China, they are both, the two great civilizations, are both committed to the development of their citizens. In that respect, I see them, the leaders of the United States and China, as post-Pharaonic figures, almost like repentant pharaohs. Two great leaders have realized the potential for corruption, and they have stood aback from corruption and understand what the Pharaoh did not understand. I see the leaders of the world today, the United States and in China, as pharaohs who have repented. I see them as a correction of old civilizations, as the pharaohs who have listened to Moses and Aaron, and who are listening to Moses and Aaron. And if they did not listen on the first plague, then they are listening on the second plague, and on the third, and continually turning and continually in negotiation, in the process of listening. In fact, going back from the 10th plague to the 9th, to the 8th, to the 7th, to the 6th, to the very beginning. A great recorrection of the sins of history, where humanity suffered terribly for the inability for human leaders to talk and to negotiate and solve their problems. Today, this can be achieved with the United States and China, and in this great plague which is happening in these very days, the relationship between China and America, and between scientists and between laboratories around the world, and the collaboration of the free world and the enlightened world, the post-Pharaonic world, the world of law and order, which continually recognizes that they need to continually correct and continually reform and continually to observe and continually to make adjustments. And this, in fact, is very important, the continual adjustment. But the inspiration that the cooperation on the plagues, the very symbol of the attack against civilization, the cooperation, the great correction which can be achieved here, is unusual.
You think that the message is still let my people go, or is there a different phrase that will be updated version of it?
Well, to let your people go really is the true expression of an individual. The people are your children, it's your spouse, it's your offspring, it's your genes, it's your expression, it's your essence, it's everything, it's your creative license, it's your space, it's your ability to worship, it's your ability to congregate and to harmonize and to make friends with people and to outreach to a person of your choice and your liking. So, let my people go speaks is analogous to a whole host of different basic ideas, and so it is aptly poetic. On this side of history, let my people go is an analogy to the imagination, to one's ability to communicate, to one's ability to create protocol with different types of people, with different skills, from different countries, from different perspectives, from different cultural, social milieus, from intellectual, from crafts, from skill bases, from every frequency beyond and over the heavens. This interaction is as if it were to let one's people go. And that relationship can and should be cultivated. And from a civilizational let my people go, those in corporations, those in government, those who are in a bureaucracy that can affect the relationship of people with each other, and they create a top-down structure, a pharaonic structure, they should be aware that they are in the sense of a pharaoh, of a dictatorship, of an oppression. And it is they to listen to the Moses and to the Aaron, to the symbiosis between partnerships, between a different group, between the Israel, between the decentralization, between the nomadism, between the creativity that can exist from being a minority, from being on the outside, from being disconnected. The perspective that the potential Pharaoh can take, and the reconstruction of the pharaonic mind, knowing that there is a post-pharaonic age, the repentant Pharaoh, where the Pharaoh is everything that he learnt from the destruction and from the roads that were not taken in arrogance. The Pharaoh that after the destruction of his armies in the sea, who escaped and who made penitence, and he returned to build the Egyptian empire again. The repentant Pharaoh that could be of a repentant United States, or a repentant China, or a repentant Iran, or of Saudi Arabia. The nations of the world leaving the pharaonic, the top-down, the oppressive bureaucracy, and voluntarily, if that is at all possible, or possibly taking the signs of Moses and of the staff of Aaron, and using those to signal and to navigate a way to allow and to empower the individual's relationship with individuals, in relationship with skills, in relationship with opportunities, in relationship to dreams and to ideas and to freedom. These are the playing fields and the posts and the signs and the staff and the characters of the post-pharaonic ideal state that all pharaohs should hope